Hello, I am Jason JROCK Houston. I'm with my good friend Jason Lee Beckwith. This is the two Jasons and Jason. Do you want to introduce our special guest yet?
What's up, Jason?
What's happening, buddy?
Hey, Jason, who's your friend with you? We got a special guest tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the one, the only drummer, Mr. Bobby Richards, my good friend.
Hey, wait, we got two drummers in the house.
Yes.
And he's the guy that turned me on to my new cymbal company.
All right, and for anybody who doesn't know, Bobby also previously played with the legendary Randy Piper.
Yeah.
Wasp!
Yep.
There you go.
Andy and Chris.
Yes. I've seen it, man. Them jamming with, who was, I've seen the video with this guy jamming. You got fucking Zach Wild on stage. Who the fuck else was there?
Tony Iommi.
Tony Iommi and Zach fucking Wild.
The Riff Master. Wow, Zach. Wow.
You might as well just shoot me now if I get to fucking drum with either one of those cats.
Yeah, I think you two need to have a drum off, and very much.
No,
like,
no, we don't. No, I've seen him play. He and I are actually starting a secret little project together, and he's the fucking drummer.
Okay.
So I'm not doing it. He is. But I will say this. I had a private party at my studio recently. I think I told you this last time.
Yeah.
And he brought over his new soul tone cymbals, right? And they sounded great, man. So, I mean, they sounded awesome. I got to play on them. They sounded awesome. So the next morning, I started hitting up the website and checking it all out. And one thing leads to another. I am now proud to announce soul tone cymbals are going to be the only cymbals I play too. He got me in there.
Yep. Signature series.
That's right. They're making me my own cymbals right now. They are going to come out soon. And like I was telling you before, they will look something like that.
Wow.
And when people hear them, they're going to know why. This is not something I did so I could get a discount on cymbals. You know what I'm saying? This is not something I did so I can say at 52, I'm endorsing. I don't give a damn. Honestly, I mean, I do. But I'm playing them because they sound great, period.
Yeah, what's cool about this is,
I have now, I played them for 20 years.
Wow.
I got one cymbal here and there, but I haven't bought a new set of cymbals in 20 years. And there's a reason for that. I play what I play because I like how it sounds. I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wow. That's amazing.
You should hear his drum set. It's ridiculous.
So can you give us any more dirt on the new project, or?
I don't know. Can we?
We'll give you a little hint. Our guitar player is on tour opening up for Queensryche right now.
Would this
Possibly.
Possibly.
But I will say, let's see, a working title that maybe we've talked about is Light Up the Sky. So take for that what you will.
Huge Van Halen reference now.
I don't know.
Man, yeah.
I just know that so far it sounds really, really good. And I'm not saying that the song we were playing at the beginning of this episode was maybe another hint of some of the material, some of the scope of the material. Because to me, I'm going to quote David Lee Roth, as I do often. He says, in life, it should never be either or. It should be in addition to.
There you go. Yeah. And now Jason.
Go.
So why the secrecy? Like, what are you guys waiting for? Have you rehearsed it all together? Are you waiting to get the endorsed?
Well, I won't say that there hasn't been some activity in my studio, and I'm looking over in the corner of my studio right now from my spot here in the control room at the studio at Villabonzel. And I'm looking at a big whiteboard. Is that a whiteboard out there?
That's a whiteboard I brought over.
What's on that whiteboard, Bobby?
25 songs.
25 songs.
Now, here's a question, Jason. Since you're the front man, will you be singing
Are you
songs
assuming
from...
that I'm the front man? Have I said I was the singer?
frontman, whatever you want to call it.
I
man.
just said he's the drummer.
Okay. Now here's the question: Will
Maybe
the
I'll play
band?
bass.
Will
No,
the
I am the
band be?
singer. I'm fucking with you, man. I am the singer.
Will the band be performing songs from all era of the band?
That is my intention, yes.
Now that is what will make you guys stand out.
We're going to start off with the first two major eras, but if I have my way, I don't speak for the rest of the guys, but if I have my way, we're going to do songs from all eras of the band, including Mr. Boston.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Because like I said, man, there's room for everybody in our party.
Sure.
I don't want half the audience. I don't want a third of the audience. We want all of the audience.
Yeah. And see, that will really make you guys stand out from even the band you're going to be paying tribute to, because
and I'm not bleaching my hair.
Yeah, but the band itself, like the two singers, would only sing songs from their era. So in a way, the fans got really cheated. And then, of course, the singers are so different. You know, one guy can kind of do anything. The other guy, his voice is somewhat limited, but he's great at what he does, you know?
Right.
Yep. Yeah, you are right. And then there's another guy that said, screw it, I'll do it all. And
exactly.
And he got a raw deal. But like I was telling you before, that third guy, they completely changed the dynamic of how they made music in that band.
It
was always music, then lyrics. And they changed it around, and it didn't work for that person or that band. It was
in fact, I was just reading today that Michael Anthony recently gave an interview, and he's talking about the fact that they'd actually started work on a second album with that singer, but the record company kind of scrapped them, forced them to scrap it.
One of those tunes ended up on A Different Kind of Truth.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
In a very different form, but I believe it was Blood and Fire.
Oh, wow. I could hear that. Yeah.
But there was completely different lyrics and stuff, I think. Obviously, Dave's not playing it. Dave's not playing anybody else's lyrics.
Yeah. Now, Jason, you've been, of course, drumming for years, as everybody knows. It's followed you. And I know you've also done these gigs, you know, as Jason Lee and Friends, and you have another one coming up soon. So you have also done singing from time to time, but what's it going to be like for you, you know, in this new project where you're going to be up front and center as opposed to back of the stage?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, wait till you see the animal come out now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We know we kind of have, because, you know, this is
I've done it before, though. If you Google on the internet, you can see video of me doing exactly what we're thinking about doing. Maybe not quite as good as it's going to be that we're doing it, but at the Galaxy Theater in California, I did a whole show of it.
Oh, wow.
I actually, for a very short, hot minute, was the lead singer in a band called OU812. They were a tribute to Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
I was very heavily courted by their guitar player, who I straight up told him, dude, I can't sing tenor. I'm a baritone, so we're going to have a lot of early rock stuff if you want me to come in your band. He says, I don't care. We'll do that. We can get a harmonizer, whatever we got to do. When I had blonde hair, he just liked the way I looked.
Yeah.
Because I had my hair bleached for a while. So it didn't, we did like 3 or 4 shows. But, you know, when you're singing to a very staunch Sammy Hagar, Cabo Wabo crowd, if you're doing half David Lee Roth stuff in the set, not everybody's going to dig it. They were gracious, and the shows went very well. I did like 3 shows with them, I think. One in San Diego, one in St. Louis, and I forget where the other one was. But it just, you know, it was what it was. And, you know, when you find out people are getting offers for shows and not booking them, you go, well, I didn't come into this team to be sitting on the bench. I came in to get on the floor and play ball.
So
I booked a show at a big venue in California.
Yeah.
And when somebody said, oh, we're not doing that show, well, then I'm out. So me and my friends did the show anyway.
Yeah. Van Halen is a very hard band to pay tribute for all the reasons we talked to, you know, about it. I mean, there's a handful of them. There's Atomic Punks that have been around for years. There's Van Halen. They're probably the, you know, number 2 one.
Funny story about Van Halen. The reason I started liking singing, the reason I thought about doing this stuff, or like before when I was doing it, back when Van Halen was a backyard party band, and they went through 2 name changes. They started out as On Fire,
Okay, I remember.
and Panama, then Van Halen that they are now. When they were On Fire, I did a couple shows with them, like back in party style, before I even started, doing all the stuff and all that. But I think that's probably when I first bleached my hair. And then that's when I met Angel from OU812 and on and on.
Wow. And, interesting story. There's a couple of ways you could handle this. I interviewed once this guy, he had an AC/DC tribute band out of Florida, and they had a guy like first half of it would come out and do the Bond stuff. They had 2 different singers.
Right.
And then they had another guy that would come out and do the Brian stuff.
We did a show like that once in OU812. We had a guy, it's funny, I'm the baritone, but we had a different guy out there playing rock. There's a club in San Diego called 4th and B. I don't think that place even exists anymore.
No, it's not around no more.
Good old days.
Yeah. And it's interesting talking about tribute bands because, the Atomic Punk is not just the premier Van Halen tribute, but
they set the gold standard.
They set the standard for every kind of tribute that followed. I mean, they're still out there doing it. And I don't know if people even aware. There was this guy, there's 2 guitar players. I think one was Brian Young and one was Bart Walsh, who sadly
first and
committed suicide.
Brian Young.
And both went to join David Lee Roth's solo band. Could you imagine?
Can you imagine? Just like Ripper Owens from Judas Priest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And funny enough, a little backstory to that is that Bart Walsh was chosen to be in David Lee Roth's solo band with, from the Atomic Punks.
Yeah.
And then whatever happened
on
tour in Europe, he was let go.
Yeah.
Not going to suppose why.
Yeah.
Let go. The next thing you know, they basically was, not only are you gone, but we're going to get your replacement in the Atomic Punks to replace you in my band.
Wow. Yeah.
And Brian did great. And then, of course, my favorite lineup was, did you ever see any of the David Lee Roth shows with the 2 guitars? They had Toshi from Japan, Toshi Hikeda from Japan. And that was when Ray Luzier, the guy that plays drums for Korn.
Yeah. He was in Dave's band too.
And they had 2 guitars, and it was fat. It was awesome. That's the lineup that did that Sam and Dave tour. And that was awesome. I saw that where they had the US Festival.
Yeah. Wow. So, Bobby, share with us how you know Jason. I mean, how long have you known him? How did you guys meet? Do you ever?
Poor guy.
Oh my God. Maybe I just moved from LA. I was up there for 30 years, and now I moved down here about a year and a half ago. And where did we meet? We met through Olivia, I believe.
Yeah, a friend of ours named Olivia Tossick. Hey, Olivia, we love you. She does this online interview series called The Rock and Rag.
Okay.
And she's a fixture at NANN conventions. She does a jam session every year. I believe you are doing that.
Yes,
Tell them about that.
Wednesday, April 12th at the 5th. It's right around where NANN by the convention is.
That's in Anaheim, right?
Yeah, in Anaheim.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you could picture how the Tuesday night Ultimate Jams are.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everybody that's on the bill has played or toured and everything. And they will just get together and everybody picks a couple songs. They put the set list together. And you go, like I'll be playing with people that have played with Lynch Mob.
Oh, wow.
And I believe it's a guitar player, bass player from Metal Church.
Okay.
And we're going to do a couple tunes. I think I'm doing Crazy Train and Surrender.
Oh, wow.
Sean McNabb plays it every year with us. Neil Turbin's over, he's there. And
Sean, didn't he play in Dawkins?
Yeah.
Dawkins, Quiet Riot, Great White, just to name a few.
Yeah, good friend of mine. And we all just do this. And it's Wednesday, April 12th from 7 to 11 at the 5th. It's called. It's a rooftop.
Wow.
VIP tables, the whole 10 yards, red carpets at 6 o'clock, and the show starts at 7.
And here's some trivia for you since you brought up the name Sean McNabb. Did you know that he's also an actor? And did you know that his wife is a newscaster?
Yep. Like I said, I was in LA for 30 years till 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
I know Sean very well. We've done many shows at the Whiskey for the Ultimate Jam nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this about our mutual friend Jason Lee here.
Give me some dirt.
A few years back, he played at NAMM, I believe it was, or it was another convention somewhere. And of course, he does his band Kissed Alive, and they have this merchandise they were selling at the time or giving away, Kiss like trading cards, but of his band.
Yes, yes, we did have our own trading cards.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny. You did some homework, man.
Well, I remember, you and me go a little wet back too, and I remember during one of our
Do you
interviews,
have one of those things?
that's one of those things you were plugging,
Do you have them?
I don't have them, but yeah, I would
Oh, I
love to
should
have.
get you some. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
there's a rumor they're going to be re-released pretty soon
That would be cool.
with the new lineup. Yeah, we did our own trading cards. Why not?
And another thing that you guys did that's kind of different from most tribute bands is you released a couple tracks. The very first one was, of course, a great take on Deuce. And then you guys also did, most recently, War Machine, which I think is kind of smart. You didn't even know it at the time, but the Creatures box set recently came out, and it's the 40th anniversary of that, so very fitting.
Yes, we've done that for a while. The first one,
Deuce.
I saw something online where they were putting together a tribute CD, with a bunch of this guys and that guys, somebody from Wingers, somebody from Warrant, somebody from Dokken, whatever, that kind of thing. And somebody from Kiss, I think,
Yeah.
I think stuff like that. Anyways, so we got on there, and they asked me what song that I thought we should do. I said, well, how about Deuce? Nobody was doing that, right? And so then I had the idea, okay, so let's do Deuce. And my band is named after Kiss Alive, their first classic live album, right?
Yeah, which we'll get into part two.
Foreshadowing, right?
Yeah.
So what's the very first song on that iconic? How does it start off?
Deuce.
I told the guy I thought our song should start off the CD.
In fact, I've heard Ace Frehley talk in many interviews over years about that's why in his solo show he still performs Deuce, because he's like, that's my all-time favorite Kiss song, even though I didn't sing it. He's like, for that very reason, he says it's the very first song any Kiss fan ever heard off the very first record.
That Shudder, probably.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, we did that and it was a lot of fun. And that song, actually, we don't own that one.
Okay.
We just, we did a thing. They showed us some love and it's theirs. So I've seen that song and it starts off just like the live thing does with the intro and fake applause.
Yeah.
So, but I've heard that version on 3 different Kiss compilations, including one that just came out, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, called The Many Faces of Kiss.
Okay.
3-disc set. They had a 2-album version on vinyl, but they had a 3-disc set. It had like Bruce Kulick was on there. I think Eric Singer showed up somewhere. And then it had a lot of like stuff that people did that were in Kiss. One CD was Kiss
related. Yeah.
We were on that. One was Kiss related, like artists that Kiss covered, like they covered Rick Derringer. So Rick Derringer was on that, that kind of.
Yeah.
And we were on that, and I had no clue until somebody sent me an email. What are you gonna do? And I'm fine with that. We knew you have it.
And so
any chance I see it on, the better.
Like War Machine was great too. Any chance there's more of that down the line? Have you?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Yes, actually. What complicates things sometimes is having people in the band who, we all have other gigs, and so
Sure.
Corralling us is kind of like herding cattle sometimes, but actually about 3 years ago, I made some moves that allows Kiss Alive to legally record and release Kiss music. That's why we did War Machine, available everywhere, of course, Pandora, Spotify, iTunes.
In fact, Jason, you just gave me leading to the next thing we're going to talk about. I recently, as you know, interviewed your bandmate Casey Trask.
I saw that interview,
and like you were sharing with me that you watched a little bit of interview, and you were very impressed, as was I when I was talking to him. That he gave really great answers. He knows obviously how to right thing to say in an interview. I mean, in fact, he's currently the touring guitar player with Trauma, which anybody knows is Cliff Burton's pre-Metallica band. And
long live Cliff Burton.
They've been around for years, but they're finally getting a serious push for first time in years. And and they're still around. And like Casey was very careful, obviously, not to say, "Hey, I'm a new guitar player in Toronto." He's the touring guitarist, and I asked him a little bit about that, and he said, "Well, everything seems to be going good, and I'm digging playing with the guys, and it's a fun gig, but nothing's official yet, and they're liking what I'm doing, so we'll see."
Yeah, I've talked to him a little bit about it, of course, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, honestly. Those kind of opportunities should happen to nice guys like him.
In fact, he was telling me, how fun it is being in Kissed Alive, and he was talking a little bit about putting on the Ace makeup. He says, getting all these other gigs that come up for him time to time. He says the cool thing about the Kissed Alive gig is, he says, that you've got a backup bass, so when he has to go do these other gigs, you guys are still able to do what you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like a franchise, man. You got to have you got your A team, and then you got your B players. You got your backup strings, second strings. And fortunately, our field is deep. The guys that we have that sub in are very good at what they do. They come from other Kiss tribute bands, because you can't just get up there and do what we do. Yeah. And I'm not saying that like we're great. I'm just saying, even being a Kiss tribute, it's an acquired skill. Just performing in 7-inch heels. I have the luxury of sitting down, and no, I don't play my drums. I did one time. You can, but it's hard, man. It's like I drove in them one time, and dude, that's insane.
The poor bass drum head.
Push the seat way back,
I dare say you're harder working than the man you portray. A little harder.
No way, dude. Those guys. Give me one day on that stage, dude, and I'll be fine. There's no way, dude. Those guys are the hardest working, longest running, most successful American rock band ever. I think the only currently performing band that's been around longer as far as American acts is Aerosmith, and that's maybe by a year.
I mean, Kiss is celebrating 50th years, and they're still
touring. Aerosmith is falling apart.
Yeah. I mean, I was reading something the other day. Michael Anthony's forming a band with Aerosmith drummer. I'm like, oh, Joey Kramer? No, it's the guy filling in for Joey.
Yes, the guy filling in. And then I just saw an article that there's a rumor that, and I can't confirm it. I don't know anything about any of these people, but I saw a rumor that the singer is going to be Jeff Scott Soto.
I saw the same thing. Yeah, that's the rumor going around.
There's a new band being started by Michael Anthony, because they were asking him, "Hey, what are you going to do if Sammy decides to retire from doing the Circle gigs?" He goes, "Well, I didn't want to say anything yet, but I got a new band getting ready to start. We're gonna rehearse it."
And then kind of, it's not like really misleading, because it's true, but like the headlines that catches everybody's attention is Michael Anthony forms band with Bon Jovi Aerosmith members.
But they're all the guys that are off stage.
Which is Phil X, who replaced Richie Sambora, and then probably actually Michael Anthony and Jeff Scott Soto will be the most. No, but Phil X, I've interviewed him. He's a pretty cool guy, super talented. Like even I was talking to Phil about when I interviewed him. I said, that's a pretty good side gig. Even though you're not the original guitar player, I bet paycheck's pretty good.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, who would want a gig like that?
I'll tell you what, dude, Michael Anthony was a class act, man. He was always the classiest guy in that band, It was
hell of a singer.
Oh, big time.
I mean, he was the background sound of Van Halen. And it's very sad what the way like Eddie Van Halen used to trash on the guy. Like he said, like, "Oh, I had to teach him."
For that, man. There was no need for any of that, dude. But you know what? I can't judge a guy.
Who's not?
How we know, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, getting his ass tore up by cancer in all different kinds of ways.
Who knows? Yeah.
They literally cut a third of the guy's tongue off, and he had to kind of relearn how to speak without slobbering on himself like Daffy Duck, dude.
Well, here's the thing with that. I knew that he'd been battling cancer for years. But I remember sitting in my living room when it was announced the very day he died, rock legend Eddie Van Halen, dead died of cancer today, And then you come to find out, not only did he die of cancer, but he'd been battling cancer for like the last 20 years.
Wow.
Kind of secretly,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and you look at somebody like Frankie Banali had cancer for a couple years, and so you think, man, for somebody to battle cancer for 20 years, it's got to really take a lot out of you, you know?
Yeah, you know what? And he was out there doing those tours with Dave and everything.
And never missed a lick.
Yeah. And everybody thought all those times were like when they first did the reunion and first announced it,
Yeah.
and then the plans were scrapped again for a couple of months, and Eddie had to go into rehab. You know,
Yeah.
How can you blame a guy going through all of that stuff if he goes off the rails every now and then? You know what I mean? I'm not excusing it, but geez, man, no wonder he wanted to. My kid can play bass. Let him do it. I'm not going out there unless my kid's in the band. It's shitty the way it went down, if you were Michael Anthony, because that was a shitty way to have that happen. But I understand why. If my kid played music, he'd be doing nothing but.
See, Michael Anthony was still a first-class top guy because he didn't even do what Sammy or Dave would have done, which would have gone and badmouthed the guy. He just kind of stayed neutral.
How about the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Eddie didn't show up because he was in rehab or getting treatment for his cancer or something. And they're like, hey, man, we love him. We're here to fly the flag for Van Halen and accept the award, and we hope he gets better.
Yeah.
They didn't go out there and say, fuck that guy. I'm up here because I was in the band the whole time.
Yeah.
What a loss, dude. What a tremendous hole in music, dude.
And we even talked before,
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Like David Lee Roth, I remember when he finally made a comment about Eddie passing a few days later, people made a big deal because it was kind of so short, just a couple words, but I thought said something to the effect of
See you on the other side.
It's been a long, beautiful ride or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a long, strange trip.
And I'm like, in just a few words, Dave is such a wordsmith. Just a few words, he said it all.
It was a quote from the Grateful Dead. I think he was quoting Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
There's a Grateful Dead song that says something like, "What a long, strange trip it's been." So it's kind of that paraphrase.
Yeah.
Dave is always intellectually,
and I don't know
on a level above most people's recognition.
I don't know if you've ever had a chance. I urge you, if you haven't, go on YouTube when you get a chance, type in The Roth Show. And
I'm hooked on those things.
Like
I've seen every episode.
I mean, what I'm kind of the way this guy's mind works. I mean, he's cultured, he's educated. He sounds like at times he's rambling on, but if you really listen to it, he's making sense. And what he's been doing, come to find out, people are wondering why is he doing all these? Why is he remaking all these Van Halen songs, and he's putting out these other songs that he's never released before? And from what I can make out is ultimately the plan is to release a song at a time, maybe release a CD eventually, but he's doing it his way. You know what I mean?
I heard the Van Halen covers that he's putting out. I'll say this.
Yeah.
I won't comment on that, but what I will say is this, and you can say what you want about it, but he's got a lot of songs, a whole album's worth that he wrote with John 5.
Yeah.
And he should fucking put them out. David Lee Roth. Calling David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
Put out the rest of the John 5 songs. Dude, bring it on.
In fact,
recording Van Halen songs without Eddie Van Halen. Your fans want that, dude.
Yeah.
Your fans want that music. Like Somewhere Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill. That was a beautiful song. Nothing could have stopped us back then anyway. A beautiful song, dude. He's got a whole album's worth of that shit, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
His voice sounds amazing. John 5 is world class.
Yeah, I just wonder.
John 5 and Motley Crue, by the way.
I was just going to say.
Put that out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know how he could, but I wonder if Nikki Sixx would dare try to kind of get in the way. Hey, John 5 is now on Motley Crue. You got to get Motley Crue's permission to put that out there.
I don't think so, because he's putting out solo stuff.
Yeah.
I just seen that he put out a new solo song. I bet he had that in there like, hey, I'll do your thing, but I still get to do my thing.
Yeah, and this is a good part to kind of, we're going to end up part one of this tonight, but before we do, that's kind of, it's interesting to come find out that John 5, apparently, he's been kind of working with Motley Crue behind the scenes as far back as The Dirt.
Oh, absolutely. All those songs that were on the soundtrack that they recorded, that was him. He played it, he did the guitar.
Everybody at the time thought it was the original. Mick Mars didn't apparently play a lick on on any of the new tunes. And John 5 apparently was a writer on some of that stuff. And I heard John Corabi talk recently where he says that really the last album that Mick Mars really had anything to do with was the '94 album. He's not on much of Generation Swine, if at all, because Tommy and Mickey didn't like his guitar playing, and they re-recorded a lot of that stuff.
I think the same thing with the Saints of Los Angeles.
Yeah, because that's why I understand too. If you look at the video for the Saints of Los Angeles, it's basically you got DJ Ashba, you got Motley Crue in there, but you got DJ Ashba and James Michael playing in the background band.
It was a 6 a.m. record.
Yeah. That's what somebody told me. It's basically 6 a.m.
Well, speaking of the Dirt, did you hear on that soundtrack their version of Like a Virgin by Madonna? What do you think?
I'm with you. I'm with you because initially I thought
Why?
okay.
I like it.
Let's just say one thing. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. Because as Nikki Sixx said in an interview when that came out, he says, "Oh, Tommy, dude, it just came to me. God told me to do it." Blame God.
I like that song about as much as I like Winger doing Purple Haze.
I'll tell you this though.
I love Winger, by the way. That's no slag on them.
See, unless you can do a cover and really kick its ass and make it your own, why do it? Because I still like the Madonna version much better, and I don't even listen to it. You know what I mean? But if I had to,
I always knew you were a secret Madonna fan, bro. That's
I'm just saying.
Okay, it's all right. We're your friends. It's all right, man.
It's all right. I'm just saying. I would throw out
man.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, okay, you guys, we're gonna take a break now, and we'll come back in about 5 or 10 minutes, and we're gonna be talking about our top five live albums of all time. Do you want to take part, Bobby? We encourage you to do so. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right,
see you guys in about 5
later,
minutes.
part 2.
Okay, see you in a few.
All right.